Welcome back, truth seekers and profound thinkers. Today, we're embarking on an exploration that touches the very core of what it means to live a meaningful life, to navigate complexity, and to truly understand the world around us. I'm Isabella, your ever curious guide, and our topic today is nothing less than wisdom. Not just knowledge, not just intelligence, but that elusive, transformative quality that allows us to thrive. And who better to help us unearth its many facets than my brilliant co-pilot Diego, who brings a wealth of insight to every conversation. Buckle up because we're diving deep into the art of living wisely.
What an absolutely captivating introduction, Isabella. You've perfectly articulated the profound importance of our subject. For me, the pursuit of wisdom has always felt like a journey without a final destination, a continuous process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. It's fascinating how we often conflate wisdom with intelligence or mere factual knowledge. But as I've grown, I've come to see wisdom as something far more holistic, more integrated into our very being. It's about discernment, about applying what we know with empathy and foresight. It's about knowing not just what to do, but why to do it, and perhaps even more critically, when and how to do it.
Precisely. Let's start by clarifying that distinction. We live in an age overflowing with information. Knowledge is abundant, and intelligence in its various forms is highly valued, from analytical prowess to emotional intelligence. But what makes wisdom distinct? Is it simply accumulated knowledge or something more? And why, despite our access to so much information, does genuine wisdom sometimes seem rarer than ever?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? I'd argue that knowledge is the accumulation of facts, data, and information. It's the what. Intelligence is the ability to acquire, process, and apply that knowledge effectively, to solve problems, to learn new skills, to reason logically. It's the how of problem solving. But wisdom transcends both. It's the ability to understand the deeper meaning of things, to see the interconnectedness, to exercise sound judgment, especially in complex or uncertain situations, and to act in a way that promotes well-being, not just for oneself, but for others and the larger world. It's knowledge tempered by experience, empathy, and a deep understanding of human nature and its limitations. It's knowing not just the facts, but their implications, their ethical weight, and their long-term consequences.
That's beautifully put, Diego. It suggests that wisdom isn't just about what you know, but how you know it, and more importantly, how you use it in a way that benefits beyond mere personal gain. So, if it's not merely about accumulating data or being quick-witted, how do we cultivate it? Is it something we're born with, a genetic predisposition, or can it be learned and honed like any other skill, albeit a profoundly complex one?
I firmly believe it's something we cultivate. While some individuals may possess a natural inclination towards reflection or empathy, true wisdom is forged through experience, diligent reflection, and often through confronting our own limitations and mistakes. It's not found in textbooks alone. It's in the quiet moments of introspection, in the willingness to listen more than we speak, in the humility to admit, I don't know, or I was wrong. Learning from our successes is valuable, of course, as it builds confidence and refines effective strategies. But learning from our failures and shortcomings often provides a deeper, more enduring form of wisdom, etching lessons into our very being that mere instruction cannot. It's in the process of adapting, failing, and trying again with newfound understanding.
That's a profound point, Diego. The role of humility and self-awareness in the journey towards wisdom. It makes me think of the Socratic paradox. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. It's not about being ignorant, but about recognizing the vastness of what remains unknown, which then fuels further inquiry and openness rather than closing off to new ideas. It's a continuous state of beginner's mind, perhaps.
Absolutely. And that leads us to what I see as critical pillars of wisdom. Firstly, experience. While not all experiences automatically lead to wisdom, reflective experience certainly does. It's not just living through something, but deliberately processing it, understanding its implications, and integrating those hard-won lessons into future actions. A person who has faced significant challenges, be it personal loss, professional setbacks, or moral dilemmas, and emerged with greater understanding, not just scars, is often far wiser. It's the crucible where character and insight are truly forged.
And how true that is. It's about making meaning from our lives, isn't it? It's taking the raw material of lived moments and shaping it into something coherent and instructive. What about the role of empathy, which you touched upon earlier? How does connecting with others foster wisdom, and why is it so indispensable?
Empathy is absolutely crucial, Isabella. Wisdom isn't purely an intellectual exercise, it's deeply human. To understand complex situations, especially those involving other people, we need to be able to step into their shoes, to comprehend their motivations, fears, hopes, and their unique perspectives on the world. Without empathy, our judgments can be harsh, our solutions narrow, and our understanding incomplete or even damaging. A truly wise person doesn't just solve problems, they understand the human element within those problems, recognizing that every decision impacts real lives. They consider the ripple effects of their actions on others, striving for outcomes that are not only effective, but also just and humane. It's the bridge between raw knowledge and compassionate action.
That resonates deeply. It's the difference between a cold, logical solution that might technically work, but leaves a trail of human collateral damage, and one that is both effective and compassionate. And I'd add perspective to those pillars. The ability to see situations from multiple angles, to zoom out and see the larger context, the historical, cultural, or systemic forces at play, or to zoom in and appreciate the minute details and individual experiences. It's about detaching from our immediate emotional reactions or preconceived notions to gain a clearer, more balanced, and ultimately more accurate view of reality. It's the ability to hold contradictory ideas in your mind and consider them without immediate judgment.
Exactly. Perspective also involves looking beyond the immediate present. A wise person considers the long-term consequences of actions, understanding that quick fixes often lead to bigger problems down the line, much like addressing symptoms without curing the disease. They learn from history, not just to repeat it, but to anticipate future challenges and opportunities, recognizing patterns that transcend individual events. This foresight, this capacity to play chess with life and see several moves ahead, is a powerful hallmark of wisdom. It's about understanding that current actions will inevitably shape future realities. And this kind of perspective also requires a healthy skepticism toward popular narratives and a willingness to question assumptions, including one's own.
Wisdom in action, decision-making, and navigating uncertainty. So let's talk about the practical application of wisdom. How does a wise person approach decision-making, especially in our increasingly complex, interconnected, and uncertain world? Because it feels like we're constantly bombarded with choices, many of which have significant ethical, social, or practical implications, and the stakes often feel incredibly high.
That's where wisdom truly shines, Isabella. Unlike someone who might react impulsively, get bogged down by analysis paralysis, or simply defer to authority without critical thought, a wise person approaches decisions with a blend of careful consideration, an intuitive grasp of the situation, and an acknowledgement of their own cognitive biases. They diligently gather relevant information, yes, but they also rely on their accumulated understanding of patterns, human behavior, and the likely outcomes of different paths. They often pause, reflect, and seek counsel from diverse sources, not just those who agree with them, demonstrating humility and an openness to different viewpoints. They weigh the knowns and acknowledge the unknowns, proceeding with a certain degree of informed caution.
And crucially, they understand that some problems don't have perfect solutions, only better ones. They're comfortable with ambiguity and are often willing to make decisions that might be unpopular in the short term, but are, in the long run, the most beneficial for the greater good. That takes immense courage, doesn't it? To stand by a difficult choice that aligns with a deeper ethical framework, even if it draws criticism.
Immense courage indeed. It's easy to follow the crowd, to succumb to groupthink, or to take the path of least resistance.
Wisdom often requires charting an independent course, one based on deeply held principles, a clear vision of what's right, and a profound sense of responsibility even when it's difficult or lonely. It's also about knowing when not to act, when to wait, when to observe, and when to let things unfold naturally. This judicious restraint, the understanding that not every problem requires immediate intervention, is often overlooked but is a powerful expression of wisdom. It reflects patience and a trust in natural processes or the resilience of others. And it extends to knowing when to say no to opportunities that might seem appealing but don't align with deeper values or long-term goals.
The eternal quest, cultivating wisdom throughout life. So, for our audience, what practical steps can one take to cultivate wisdom? Beyond just living life, which happens to everyone, how can we intentionally foster this invaluable quality in ourselves and help others do the same? Because it sounds like an ongoing, lifelong journey, not a destination you arrive at.
You're absolutely right, Isabella. It is an ongoing journey. I have a few suggestions that, while seemingly simple, can have profound effects. Firstly, embrace continuous learning, but not just factual learning. Read widely across disciplines: history, philosophy, psychology, literature, even poetry. Explore different worldviews, engage with diverse philosophies, study historical movements, and immerse yourself in art and literature. These don't just add facts, they broaden your understanding of the human condition, ethical dilemmas, and the vast spectrum of human experience. Secondly, practice mindful reflection. Journaling, regular meditation, or simply taking quiet, dedicated time to process your experiences can be incredibly powerful. Ask yourself deep questions like, what did I learn today? How did I contribute to a situation? What could I have done differently? What were my motivations and what were the actual consequences? This self-interrogation is crucial.
And I'd passionately add, seek diverse perspectives. Actively and intentionally engage in genuine conversations with people from different backgrounds, cultures, generations, and viewpoints than your own. Don't just listen to respond, genuinely listen to understand. Challenge yourself to articulate positions you don't necessarily agree with, just to understand their logical underpinnings. This actively breaks down mental silos, challenges your assumptions, and broadens your intellectual and emotional landscape, which is essential for growth. Also, crucially, embrace discomfort and failure. View challenges not as absolute setbacks, but as indispensable opportunities for profound learning. Each mistake, each misstep, each moment of vulnerability can be a stepping stone to deeper wisdom if you're willing to reflect on it honestly, without excessive self-criticism or blame. Learn to extract the lesson, not just dwell on the pain.
Excellent points, Isabella. And finally, practice empathy and compassion in your daily interactions, not just towards those you know or like, but towards everyone you encounter. Consciously try to understand the experiences and feelings of others, even when their actions are perplexing or frustrating. This not only makes you a better, more humane individual, but also sharpens your ability to navigate complex social dynamics with a more nuanced and effective wisdom. Remember, wisdom isn't a static possession. It's a dynamic process, a lifelong endeavor of learning, reflecting, growing, and applying that growth with kindness and foresight. It's about striving to be a little better, a little more understanding each day.
So, my incredible audience, as we draw this illuminating discussion to a close, my heartfelt encouragement to you is this: don't just seek knowledge, seek wisdom. It's not about being the smartest person in the room in terms of raw intellect, but about being the person who can bring insight, understanding, and compassionate judgment to any situation. It's about living a life that is not just long, but deep, meaningful, and impactful. It's about leaving behind a positive legacy, not just in terms of accomplishments, but in terms of character and influence. Because when we cultivate wisdom, we're not just improving ourselves, we're contributing to a more discerning, more empathetic, and ultimately a more peaceful and flourishing world. Wisdom at its heart is about understanding how to live well and how to help others do the same. It's the ultimate aspiration for a well-lived life. I'm Isabella, profoundly grateful you joined us on this transformative journey today. Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep cultivating that untamed, beautiful garden of wisdom within you.